everyone, welcome to SJL Yoga. This is a full moon salutation class. So I will be taking you through an entire flow, incorporating the Moon 1 and Moon 2 that we went over in the tutorials the last couple of weeks. I hope you enjoy. Start at the top of your mountain pose. Feet are hip width distance apart or together, depending on what your practice entails you to do today. Standing, palms facing forward in mountain pose, stacking the shoulders directly over the hips directly over the ankles, one straight line. Inhale the arms all the way up, gaze comes up, palms are facing each other. And then swan dive, arms come out, forward fold. Bend your knees here as soon as you get down, as much as you need to get your hands down to the ground. And then you're going to come up onto your toes, sink down into your crouch, chest comes up. Take a few deep breaths here, staying close to the ground for your moon salutation. The pull of gravity is much more on your body, keeping you grounded. And then you're going to rock all the way onto your bottom. I'm going to face you. You can face the top of your mat. We're going to take our palms to the ground, or to our knees facing the ground, and take a few deep breaths here. Inhale and exhale. You can close your eyes. This practice is mostly used for eclipses or full moons, because a lot of people feel really anxious and like they can't keep their feet on the ground during a full moon. It's just how the universe works. So this will keep you pulling your body towards the earth, getting connected to the earth. Opening up the eyes, arms come all the way up. You're going to twist to your right, left hand on your knee, right hand behind you. Lifting the spine up, twist a little bit. And then exhale, twist a little deeper and have the head be the last thing that turns. Make sure you're not pulling on your knee here. You're just resting your hand, connecting with the earth. Inhale back to center. And then switch over to the left side. Inhale and exhale. Twist a little deeper on your exhale. Create that space. And inhale all the way up. You should be facing the front of your mat already, so you're going to come into all fours. Moving through some cat-cows, making sure your wrists are directly under your shoulders. Your knees are directly under your hips. Drop the belly, lift the head, inhale. Exhale down, round the back, tuck the chin. Inhale, lift the belly, drop the belly, lift the head, Round the back, tuck the chin, exhale. One more time, drop that belly. And round the back. Come into your neutral spine. You're going to take your hands out a little bit. Tuck the toes under, downward facing dog. Pedal out the heels here a little bit, stretching out those calf muscles. And then you're walking to the front of your mat, staying in your forward fold. Again, sinking down, lift the toes off the ground. Chest is up. Come into your crouch. And then taking that right leg behind you, starting in your sun, moon, A. So untuck the toes, knee comes to the ground. Knee is directly over the ankle. Pressing the hips forward, arms come up, low lunge. Inhale and exhale here. Hands come to frame the foot. Take the left foot back to meet the right. Come all the way up and arch into your camel variation. Staying low to the ground here. And then slowly coming down to child's pose, knees out wide, toes together, arms stretch out. Release that lower back down to the ground. And then you're going to snake your body up, staying low. Bring the knees in. Come all the way to the ground. Hands are by your chest. Lift up into your cobra pose. Keep your shins and your thighs on the ground. For this, take the elbows straight, shoulders out of the ears. And then come back to child's pose, keeping your knees together. This time, you can bring your hands behind your back if that feels better for you. Give your insoles a little massage here. Remembering to breathe. And then bring it all the way up. Arms rise above the head. Arch it back. Camel pose. Take the hands down to the ground. Taking that the right leg forward this time. Left leg stays back. Ankle is directly in line with the knee. And then we lift up for our crescent lunge. Framing out the foot. Bring that back foot to meet the front into your crouch. Come up onto the heels. Take a few deep breaths here. And then exhale, forward fold. Bending the knees wherever you need to. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend the knees, rise all the way up. Tall mountain, palms face towards each other, hands together. Mountain pose, hands at heart center. We're going to do that whole flow one more time. So inhale the arms all the way up, palms facing towards each other, gaze is up. Exhale, swan dive down, a little faster this time, coming down to your crouch. Right leg comes back, untuck the toes, rise up to your crescent lunge, Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Frame out the foot, bring the left to meet the right. Come all the way up into your camel. Slight back bend here. Bring the arms forward, take a few breaths in child's pose, knees come out wide. Resting here, feeling the earth beneath you, feeling the gravity pull you towards the ground. Snake the body forward. Laying on the ground, hands by the chest, lift up. Cobra pose. If you can't lift all the way up and you're here today, that's perfectly fine. Just keep your spine long. And then back to child's pose. Keep the knees together in this variation. Arms come forward. And then come up onto the knees, coming all the way back to your camel. Coming slightly up, switching sides, right leg comes up, push the hips forward, make sure that knee doesn't go past the ankle, back leg is engaged, inhale, rise up. Hands come to frame the foot, rock step into your crouch. Sometimes we don't make it. That's okay. Inhaling and exhaling here. And then forward fold, let it go. Drop the head. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold it down. And inhale, rise all the way up, going into Moon 2. Taking your hands together, pointer finger out. Creating that C shape with your body to the right. So your hips come left, body comes right. Inhale it up. Exhale. Hips come right, body comes left. And then all the way back up. Coming out to the side of your mat. Wide leg. Hands come out. Create that little bit of a back bend here. And then forward fold. Wherever your hands come today, if you're here, great. If you're all the way down, wonderful. If you can go a little deeper, you can spread your legs just a little further apart, hands underneath the nose. Inhale and exhale here. Doesn't matter how far down you go, just as long as you have a connection with your gravity and the earth. Bending the knees, hands on the hips, lift all the way up. This time, arms come all the way to the right. Bending over, a little bit of a different stretch here. Wherever your hands land, be proud of that. And then come back up to the middle. And then come over to the left. And then come back up to the middle. Bringing your body back to the front of your mat in your mountain pose. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, forward fold. Bring that right leg back. Anjaneyasana, low lunge. This variation is a little similar to the Moon 1, but it has a little bit more moves to it, so you can choose whatever works for your practice. Hands down again. Going back into your camel, bring that left leg back. Camel pose. This time going right into it, right leg comes up. Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Frame out that foot. Tuck the back toes under, coming into a little bit of a low lunge here. And then straight to your downward facing dog. Pedal out the heels. Taking that right leg into the air, lift up. Engage the belly here. Lift up as high as you can. If you come here today, cool. Just to get a little bit of a stretch in those calf muscles. Place the right leg back down and lift the left leg up. Again, engage the core here. You can roll out your ankle if that feels good. And then come all the way back down. You're going to shift forward into your plank pose. Bend the elbows back, hug them into the body, come all the way to the ground. Come up into your cobra. Inhale and exhale here. And then come to all fours, back to child's pose. Knees are out wide, toes together. Inhale and exhale here. Come all the way back up to downward facing dog. This time you can either walk or hop into your garland pose or low crouch. So you're going to step 1, step step the other, but your feet are apart this time. I'm going to turn towards the camera so you see. So you're in a yogi squat is another way of putting this. So your elbows are squeezing next to your knees are next to your elbows, your hands are in a prayer position. This really, really works the hips and the pelvic floor. You can do Kegels here if that is in your practice. One more breath in. And exhale, forward fold. You should be at the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend the knees, rise all the way up. And hands down to heart center, going through Moon 2 again. Inhale the arms all the way up. Interlace the hands, point the finger, and come over to the right. Stretching out that side body on the left. Inhale up, going a little faster this time. Exhale over. Left side. Bringing your arms out like a T, come to the side of your mat. Wide-legged forward fold, create that back bend. And then come forward. Palms on the ground if you can. If you can't, that's okay. Bending the knees, lift up. Hands come out and then over to the right. And then arms come out, over to the left. See how we're always staying low during Moon Salutations. You never want to build a lot of heat in Moon Salutations. Come back up. Bring it to the front of your mat. Inhale all the way up. And exhale, fold. Bring the right knee back. Untuck the toes. Anjaneyasana. Lift up. Shift the hips forward. Moon Salutations are a cooling practice where Sun Salutations build heat. You want to make sure that you're moving slowly and really, really close to the ground. Exhale, bring the hands down. Bring the left leg to meet the right. Come back into your camel pose. Breathing here. You can tuck your chin if this pose makes you a little dizzy. Tends to happen. Hands come down. Taking the opposite leg, Anjaneyasana, low lunge. If you're building a little bit of heat, that's okay. It's about 96 degrees outside, that's why I'm inside today. Frame out that foot, tuck the back toe under, come into your downward facing dog. Pedal out the heels, stretch out those calves. Right leg lifts. Place it back down. Left leg lifts. Place it back down. Shift forward into your plank. And lower down all the way. Elbows hug in. Upward with the chest. Into your cobra pose. Again, if you have to be here, that's okay. Lift up. And come back into your child's pose. Knees are wide. Hands are stretched out. Inhale and exhale here. Bring the hands forward, downward facing dog. And then walk up into your malasana, garland pose, or yogi squat. Hugging those knees next to those elbows, elbows next to those knees. Place the hands back down on the ground, forward fold. Bring those feet together or hip width distance. Inhale halfway. And then exhale, fold it down. Inhale, rise all the way up. Tall mountain. Exhale, hands at heart center, mountain pose. We're going to work on half moon pose as a challenge, a balance challenge. If you have a block or a pillow or something to bring the earth closer to you, I'm going to use a pillow today. Place it by your mat. So half moon is a hip opener pose. You can also use the wall as well, and I'll show that variation. Again, it's more point of contact with the ground for your moon salutation. So we're going to start in warrior one. So you're going to take your left foot out. Warrior two. You're going to take your left foot out, knee directly over the ankle, and you're going to take your right foot, blade edge of the foot to the back of the mat. Arms come out like a T. So you're in your warrior two. This is your foundation. You're going to take off on that back leg, or on the front leg. You're going to straighten it out, and your left arm is going to come to the ground, or it's going to come to your pillow or your block. And your back leg is going to come up 90 degrees. So you have this L shape here, and your toes are always pointed back to protect your knee. And then your top arm comes up. Your gaze can be up, down, or sideways. It doesn't matter. Your arm can be here as long as your hips are opening up. Whoop. And if you fall, that's good too. As long as your hips are opening up towards the sky, towards the side of the room, you're golden. You don't want to be down like this. You want your hips to be open. You can also use, so that you see what I'm doing. I'm putting my one foot next to the wall, and my arm is down by the ground or my block again. And that L shape is getting created, but I have the wall to actually give me a little bit of support. And my top arm is up. So it's the same pose. You're just leaning back on the wall for a little bit of support. You get the same exact stretch. Sometimes people get a little better stretch here because they have that support behind them. So take a few minutes, few seconds, whatever you need, to do that on both sides. Again, start in your warrior two, and then move on to the actual pose. So you're going to go into your warrior two, straighten that front leg. Always have your toes pointed back towards your body. And then come back down slowly, bending that front knee back into your warrior two. Make sure you do both sides. So I'm just going to switch my legs here. Warrior two on the other side. Straighten that leg. And come up into your half moon pose. One side's always better than the other. I'm a little shaky on this side. And then slowly come down into your warrior two. So once you're done playing there, you're going to come to the front of your mat. We're going to make our way down onto the ground. So inhale the arms all the way up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold it down. And just lightly come into your all fours. We're going to move through a couple more cat-cows. So directly, your wrists are directly underneath your shoulders. Your knees are directly underneath your hips. And you're going to stretch it out. Drop the belly, lift the head. And exhale, round. Tuck the chin. Inhale down. Exhale, round. Inhale down. Exhale round. Neutral spine. Bring the hands out a little further. Knees behind the hips. And then come all the way down to the ground. We're going to work on locust pose today. So locust pose, you're going to have your palms down towards the ground, your chin on the mat. This is also a really good grounding pose. And get rid of my pillow there. My legs are going to stay glued together like they're one unit. And I'm going to start to lift my head, my shoulders, and my arms. My gaze is actually, my neck is down, so there's one long line between the top of my head all the way down to my toes. You never want your head back like this because that'll hurt your throat and your neck. So your gaze is down a little bit further off your mat as you lift your shoulders, your arms, and then start to lift your ankles, your feet, and your chest starts to come off. So the only thing on the ground is now your hip bone. Inhale and exhale here. And then come slowly all the way back down to the ground. Don't flop back onto the ground. Give yourself a little bit of a massage here. You can bend your legs. Windshield wiper out the feet. And we're going to do one more locust, but this time we're going to interlace our hands behind our backs. So bring your legs straight. And if your legs don't come together, that's really hard for a lot of people. Squeeze them as much as you possibly can, pointing your toes to the back of the mat. This time you're going to interlace your hands. Make sure that your palms and your wrists stay together. If you're interlacing like this with your hands apart, it's just stretching out your wrists. If your palms are together, you're stretching out your shoulders, which is what we want in this pose. So pull your fists down as you lift your chest, your head, your feet, your legs, everything. And you can lift your arms if you have the flexibility to do so. Your gaze is down. Inhale in. Exhale down. Inhale up. And exhale down. Let the hands go. Windshield wiper out your legs. And you're going to bring your hands by your chest. Lift up into all fours and then to your downward facing dog. Lifting that right leg up. Coming into your pigeon pose, so bending the knee, bringing your knee behind your right wrist, making sure that you shift your hips back, untuck the toes, your knee is in line with your hips, walk back towards your hips, and then come down. Remember to create that image of a beach ball in front of you. If you haven't watched my tutorial on pigeon pose, please head over and do so. And then coming over onto your forearms or onto your forehead, letting the week go, letting your stresses melt onto your mat, staying low to the ground during this moon salutation, making sure that all your stress and anxiety are melting out of your body here. This makes you feel grounded. During a full moon, I actually like to not come all the way down, but have my palms and my arms on my mat to connect to the earth. Inhaling and exhaling here. Coming all the way back up. Tuck my back toes under. Come to the downward facing dog again. Lifting the left leg this time, left knee behind left wrist. Making sure that if your hip is too far off the ground, you're using a pillow or a block to support yourself. Don't roll over onto your hip. Untuck the toes, walk back, and then come all the way forward. Again, palms down on the ground. The more important part of this stretch is the hips, not to get all the way down to the ground. You have so many points of contact with the earth in this pose. Inhaling and exhaling here. Walking back up. Now you're going to shift over onto your hip. Bring that back leg to meet the front. Legs come out long. Toes are pointed back towards your body. Hands are next to you in staff pose. Take a few deep breaths in your staff pose. Pushing the earth away with your heels and the palms of your hands. Closing your eyes here. And then shifting onto your back. Grabbing the backs of your knees, rolling one vertebrae at a time all the way down. Arms come out like a T or like goalposts, depending on how much room you have. Shifting your hips over to the left, knees come right. Supine twist. Your gaze can be sideways, or up. Making sure your neck is opposite of your knees. Bringing the knees back to center. Shifting your hips over to the right, drop the knees to the left again. Gaze comes right or up, depending on what is going on with your neck today. And then bring them back up to center. Hug the knees in. Give yourself a little bit of a massage here, back and forth. Roll out the lower back. And then your legs come long. Palms are facing down this time for your Shavasana. Closing the eyes. Taking one long body scan. Starting with the crown of your head. Relax the eyes. Take the tongue out of the roof of your mouth. Relax the neck down towards the mat. Shoulders fall heavy onto your mat. Feeling the earth between your palms and your fingers. Your chest and your stomach melt down towards the spine. Your hips are loose. Thighs and calves are lightly pressing into the ground. Heels and toes are energized. Thanking the earth for bringing you to your mat today. And remembering to keep yourself grounded. And always coming back to your true self. The stress and anxiety that arise from us is all circumstantial. It is not who we truly are. You can stay in your Shavasana for as long as you like. But when you're satisfied, bringing awareness back into your toes and your fingers, bending the knees, rolling over to your favorite side, using your arms as support for your head. And then pushing your way back up to seated. Legs are crossed in front of you, palms are facing down. Inhale in. Exhale out. Inhale in. Exhale out. Inhale in. Exhale out. Hands at heart center. Thank you so much for joining SJL Yoga and myself, Lindsay Summers. Follow me on Instagram at YogiMama2018, and I hope this moon salutation kept you a little grounded during a full moon or an eclipse, or just when you have a little bit of stress and anxiety in your life. The light in me honors and respects the light in each and every one of you. Please remember to comment, share, and subscribe to this channel, and I will see you next Sunday. Namaste.